What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today I wanted to talk about the spot price of silver climbing up into the $23 an ounce range, premium excluded of course, but we also have to talk about some really important catalysts that I personally believe are going to be very crucial. For example, the possibility of a government shutdown, some other things going on in the news, including some other things that aren't even in the news at all. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos, subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel, come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club for giveaways, live streams, deal alerts, and a whole lot more. And of course, go and get your 2 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Everything is linked in the description. So today is Tuesday, February 8th, 2022. The current spot price of silver, as I'm filming the video, is $23.13. It's up 13 cents or up 0.57%. Not the greenest of green days for silver, but enough to be bringing it up into the $23 an ounce range. Spot price of gold is $18.2470. It's up $4.40 or up 0.24%. Same could be said about gold, up ever so slightly, and of course the gold to silver ratio is in the 78 to 79 to 1 range. But again, that's as I'm filming the video, not as I'm editing, posting, or as you're watching. So head on down to the comments and let me know the date and time you're viewing the video and what the current spot price is for you. I'm always curious. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about a couple of different things. We are going to be getting into the silver and even the gold here on screen. Got a nice little selection, some miscellaneous coins, some 90%, a whole tube of silver eagles up there. But before we can even get into the money, I think it's important that we first talk about the currency. More specifically, a few economic factors that we really need to pay attention to, especially over the next 6 weeks. So for those of you that didn't know, on Friday, the latest jobs report for January 2022 came out. There was some good news and some bad news within the report. That was covered in yesterday's video. Go watch that if you want to know the details. But the next report coming out is going to be the inflation report for January 2022. That's only a couple days away. Now, obviously, we don't know exactly what it's going to be like, but about a week and a half ago, Jerome Powell said after the Federal Reserve meeting that January inflation is probably going to look like December's inflation, possibly worse. This freaked the markets out to hear because December's inflation was horrible, bringing us up to 7% inflation, the fastest growing inflation in 40 years. But the report doesn't come out for a few more days. That's just something we all need to pay very close attention to and keep our eyes on. Don't be distracted by what people are saying about podcasters and workwear brands. No, stay focused on what actually matters. There's a reason they want you talking about things that don't matter. It's so that you're not talking about the things that do. Something else we have to look forward to is the completion of the Federal Reserve taper. They're reducing bond purchases by $30 billion a month every month until March. Then at that point, rates should be going up. Now I say should because this is just the current game plan and it seems to be what they're sticking to. It's what they said they're going to be sticking to after the Federal Reserve meeting last week. But there is a slim chance, if the upcoming inflation report is really bad, that the Federal Reserve could end up saying something about how we need to take emergency action to get this under control. It would shock the market and do damage, but that wouldn't be nearly as bad as letting inflation get closer and closer and closer to hyperinflation and the detrimental impacts of all of that. Okay, so the upcoming inflation report, the taper, and rate hikes are just a few things that we've already been focusing on, but we can't forget about something enormous that hasn't even been talked about since early December: the debt ceiling crisis. This has been off the radar because the deadline was extended, and we do have a bit of a ways to go before that becomes urgent again, but that alone could, in theory, threaten the state of the US dollar. I've talked about this in the past, but for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who don't remember, we can only kick the can down the road for so long until debts need to be paid or we default. Now, we don't have the money to pay off the debt, so the only option is to try to kick the can down the road, or we would end up defaulting. And if that were to take place, it would be the first time, I believe in history, that we failed to pay our national debt. But not only that, other countries trust our currency more than their own. So if the dollar bill essentially gets exposed for being how weak it's gotten, other countries would lose faith in our dollar. And that could, in theory, cause it to lose its world reserve currency status. And now, last but not least, before we get into the silver and the gold, something else we need to pay close attention to is the possibility of a government shutdown. Another extension we got a few months ago was to keep the government funded through February 18th. Well, guess what? That's next week. So right now, they're working on another bill to keep the government funded through March 11th. Now, you can't physically see me right now, but I'm shaking my head over here. If that gets passed, we'll be having this same exact conversation in another 3 weeks. But if it doesn't, we could be on the brink of a government shutdown, and that obviously would not be good. So we currently have a lot on our plate right now. There's a lot in front of us. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to hear. There's a lot to pay attention to, and it's incredibly confusing. And I personally believe that a lot of these factors are currently being baked into the stock market, for example. I mean, let's take a quick look at how stocks are behaving today. The S&P 500 is down 0.04%. The Dow Jones is up 0.32%, and the NASDAQ is down 0.08%. Now again, I'm filming this video at like 10:30 in the morning. God only knows what the markets are going to do throughout the course of the day. This video isn't even going to be coming out until after the market is already closed. Friendly reminder, if you want to watch all of my videos early, usually around 12, as soon as I'm done editing them, I toss them right up in the Precious Metals VIP Club. It's your choice if you want to watch them as soon as they're done or hours and hours later. So link in the description if you want to join the Precious Metals VIP Club. But I thought this was pretty interesting, and we've been having a rough last couple of weeks when it comes to the stock market. I'm sure that's no surprise. I've made plenty of videos about this over the last couple of weeks, and we've been seeing far more red than green. And this is 1,000% to be expected. I think it's going to continue being this way until March 16th, which is when the Federal Reserve should be done tapering and will start to raise rates. And at that point, I think that's when things are really going to get rocky. So friendly reminder, go and download Webull and fund your account. They're going to give you 2 free stocks just for doing so. Webull link in the description. Now, moving away from all of that, moving away from the stock market, moving away from the Federal Reserve, moving away from the taper, the rate hikes, the debt ceiling, the government shutdown possibility, let's now talk about the silver and the gold. Mostly silver. And the reason I wanted to laser in on silver today is because silver is back up above $23 per troy ounce, premium excluded, of course. Now what we have here on display, we got a couple of Queen's Beasts. We have some Creatures of the North. We have some junk silver down here. We have some miscellaneous coins over here. We got a whole tube of silver eagles up there at the top. Now, yesterday, I filmed a couple of videos, so I don't remember if I had mentioned this in yesterday's video, but something along the lines of how I view stacking silver and gold as somewhat of a way of protecting myself from politicians. That might have been in yesterday's video, so I don't want to get repetitive, but I'm essentially walking around with a clipboard over here, checking things off. Okay, inflation, that'll be some silver. Oh, debt ceiling deadline, that'll be some more silver. Oh, unemployment is on the rise, that'll be some gold. I'm walking around with a clipboard over here, and I'm starting to think, maybe, just maybe, I should be matching inflation with how much more silver I'm stacking. That's what I'm starting to think. Because guess what? I'm stacking silver, I'm stacking gold regardless of what's going on. During the good times, during the bad times, stacking more silver at certain points, less silver at other points, depending on what's going on. But point being is I remain consistent. But I'm starting to think, if inflation's at 7%, maybe that should be a red flag, or maybe that should be a wake-up call that I should be stacking 7% more silver. How about that? I'm starting to think that's probably not a half-bad stacking strategy, if I'm going to be honest with you. But regardless, I view the silver, I view the gold as somewhat of a way of protecting myself from the politicians. It's like how you want to protect yourself from a vampire. Gotta have that garlic. Silver and gold, real true honest money, is like garlic to these blood-sucking politicians. At least that's the way I see it. That's just my opinion at the end of the day. But I did think it was particularly interesting to see silver climb back up above the $23 an ounce mark, especially with how rocky everything else has been. The stock market has been having an incredibly difficult time. The digital currencies have also been having a pretty difficult time as well, and that's mainly because nowadays they just trade like tech stocks at this point. And tech stocks haven't been doing too hot these last couple of weeks, or really this entire year so far. Silver and gold, on the other hand, they have been standing their ground. They've been standing tall. They've been standing strong. They've been holding their own. And I don't know about you, but I've been noticing spot price seeming to be more often in the green than the red, while everything else is the opposite right now. I made this video maybe a week or two ago talking about how my honest expectations from now until March 16th, I think the markets are probably going to be something closer to 3 to 4 red days per week with 1 to 2 green days per week. Now, that's just my honest expectation. I could be wrong on that, but that's genuinely, for the most part, what I'm expecting. Silver and gold, on the other hand, it's probably the opposite. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to make any psychic predictions or anything like that. That's just what I'm personally anticipating, just based on everything that we have going on right now. We have a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the markets. We have a lot of economic instability. There's a lot of economic fear right now. People don't know what's going to be going on. People don't know how dramatic these rate hikes are going to be. They don't know if they're going to be taking place sooner than expected. We don't know if the rug is going to get pulled out from under us. We don't know. We know a lot right now, but at the same time, we know nothing. It's incredibly confusing, complex, complicated, and we're left in the dark on a majority of these issues, which is why I typically, for the last 4+ years, I've been focusing on the silver and the gold. It's just my way of hopefully keeping myself afloat. It's my way of hopefully protecting myself from these politicians. It's hopefully my way of combating inflation and doing what I need to do to stay safe when the government makes the decisions that they make, which put a lot of us in harm's way, all of us in harm's way, by the way. Any damage you do to the dollar bill affects each and every one of us. And to be honest, the damage that you do to the dollar bill affects the entire planet because we have the world reserve currency. By the way, fun fact, I learned that a majority of $100 bills are actually overseas. Physical US dollar bills, $100 bills that is, I learned that there are more $100 bills in other countries than in this country. Just a random fun fact. But I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. I know I tried to cram as much information into this video as possible. Did pretty good. We're only at about 15 minutes in, and I covered a lot of issues when it comes to the upcoming inflation report. What are some of your expectations? If you want to talk about the latest jobs report, go to yesterday's video and comment on that. Let's leave that for yesterday's video. But future tense, moving forward, the debt ceiling deadline, we got a little bit of a ways to go. Possibility of a government shutdown, What are your thoughts? You think we're going to see a shutdown? Or do you think they're going to kick the can down the road again? And then, of course, when it comes to the silver and the gold, what are your thoughts on the spot price of silver climbing back up above the $23 an ounce mark? Not the biggest move, but it's still something to talk about. And what are some of your strategies moving forward? Head on down to the comments and let me know. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. We got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs in a bunch of different designs. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club, which is where I do giveaways every single month, live streams multiple times a week, deal alerts every single day. You can watch all of my videos early and commercial free, and there are a ton of other perks as well. VIP Club link in the description. And of course, last but not least, make sure to go and get your 2 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. They're going to give you 2 free stocks just for doing so. And then if you refer 3 friends by February 10th, you only have 48 hours left to do this. They will give you at least $150 worth of Amazon stock for free, with a chance of winning all the way up to $3,000 worth of Amazon stock for free. Just click that little invite button, send it to 3 people that you know, bing, bang, boom. It's quite literally that simple. Don't pass up on an opportunity. Webull link in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know once again, what are your thoughts on some of the issues covered in today's video when it comes to the taper, when it comes to the rate hikes, when it comes to whatever the upcoming inflation report is going to be like, when it comes to the debt ceiling crisis, when it comes to the government funding, keeping the government funded so we don't see a shutdown. What are your thoughts on all of that? And of course, when it comes to the silver, when it comes to the gold, what is your precious metal stacking strategy right now? Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.